What's going on, guys? ScotianCanadien here. Don't forget to subscribe if you like my videos. Right now, we are going to do some rival watch, as just a few days ago, our Atlantic Division rivals acquired left-handed defenseman Jake Muzzin from the LA Kings in exchange for Toronto's first-round pick in the 2019 draft, as well as prospects Sean Durzi and Carl Grundstrom. First off, let's touch on what LA got in return. The first round pick from Toronto will likely be a late first round pick because if the Leafs make the playoffs, which is likely, that pick ends up being in the later stage of the first round. But regardless, that is still a very valuable asset for the LA Kings going forward. And the thing is Toronto still has to make the playoffs for that to be a concrete late round, first round pick. There's still a lot of season to go. I don't think it's likely the Leafs miss, but you never know. There's a lot of season left. Now, the prospects, right-handed defenseman Sean Durzi was picked in the second round of this most recent 2018 draft. In 28 games this season in the OHL between two different clubs, he has 8 goals and 24 assists. Pretty decent numbers. And Carl Grundstrom, left winger, is playing in the AHL right now, 20 years old. He was picked in the 2016 draft as well in the second round. Both of these prospects are more so B-level prospects and not upper echelon prospects, but nonetheless, they're still very young and they could become very important players for the LA Kings. Some people were saying that the Leafs got Jake Muzzin for cheap, and I really don't think that was the case. For a top 4 defender, that's a fair price and a pretty steep price. Anytime you're giving up prospects and a first-round pick, that's costly. Now, the Toronto Maple Leafs get Jake Muzzin, who is an absolutely vicious top 4 defender. He's maybe not quite that like elite top pair guy, but nonetheless, he is a legit top 4 defender. He's vicious out there, physical presence, which is exactly what the Leafs needed. He's a good two-way defender. He's very good defensively as well as offensively. He can put up those offensive numbers. So this is a really good trade for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Anyone looking at this and thinking otherwise, sorry, I think you're wrong. They got a really good player here in Jake Muzzin. Now, that said, they still didn't quite get exactly what they needed and will still need in the future, and that is a top pair right-handed defenseman. I don't think the Leafs wanted to touch their current roster to try and acquire a top pair defenseman, and that's likely what they would have had to do to get that right-handed top pair guy, because that's one of the most valuable assets in the game and most expensive assets to acquire if you cannot draft one, that right-handed top pair D. So, and in the future, they're still going to have to figure that out and get a guy in there long-term to really make this decor as good as the likes of Nashville, San Jose, Winnipeg. But we'll have to wait and see. But Jake Muzzin, nonetheless, very good defender, and he'll be great on that Toronto Maple Leafs decor. I think it does make their decor as a whole good enough to make a run this year because they do still have Jake Gardiner. So Leafs fans should be very excited as it's a huge upgrade for them. But the thing is, once you move past this season, as it kind of seems like they're loading up for this playoff run and not quite thinking about the future cap concerns, because after this season, after the expiring contracts come off the books, guys like Hainsey, Ozhiganov, and Gardner, the Leafs are going to have a projected $19.2 million to lock up guys like Matthews, Marner, Kapanen, Johnsson, and Gardner, of course, but it's looking like they may lose him. So once you move into next year, you lose Gardner, but then, of course, you still do have Muzzin, as he has 1 extra year left on his contract. Muzzin is not a rental for the Leafs. That's another huge plus in this trade. He's not a rental. They have that extra year on his contract. But again, the thing is, he'll be 31 when that contract expires, and are they going to be willing to re-sign him to an extension? And if they are, where are they going to find that money if they're trying to squeeze all those guys like I already said in there, specifically Matthews and Marner? Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. Do they try and extend Muzzin in the future, or maybe trade him for some assets? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, overall, I like this trade. And I have to say, even though the Toronto Maple Leafs acquired Jake Muzzin, I predicted in the offseason that Montreal would finish third in the Atlantic Division and the Leafs would finish second, which would set up that first-round matchup. And despite them getting Muzzin, I would still love to see that happen. I think it's about time we see a Habs-Leafs playoff series. It'll ignite that rivalry, and I've never seen it in my lifetime, and I would love to. And you know what? Call me crazy, but I like the Habs' chances with the way they've been playing lately. And with Price back there. Yeah, so I would still love to see that happen. That's about it, guys. If you like my videos, please subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at ScotianCanadien. And of course, if you want to get involved in the discussion, check out down low and let me know if you agree or disagree with anything I have said. Cheers, guys. Go Habs, go. Woo!